Deep in winter's night, the air may bite one's toes. One may see a beacon of light, standing tall amongst the snow. Mullein, the candlewick plant, silver green leaves are soft, waiting to be harvested and hung upside down, abundant in my loft. I'll utilize stalks for burning and make a tasty tea. Be wary of the seeds. Grandmother's words rang through me. Mullein seeds are quite poisonous, so remove them when you brew. Consider throwing them in the water tomorrow to catch fish easier too. My body soothed by mullein leaf tea steaming in my cup, and warmed by the fire their stalks lit right back up. I'll say a grateful prayer and tuck right back into bed, thankful for grandmother's words ringing in my head. By yours truly. Welcome to Sunflower Guru, Episode 4, Verbascum thapsus, otherwise known as mullein, candlewick plant, torch plant, lungwort, and shepherd's staff. The Latin word barba, or Verbascum, refers to the hairy stamens and velvety leaves. The Greek island of Thapsus connects the species of mullein to the abundant growth in this region. The common name mullein is inspired from the Latin word mollis, which describes the soft, hairy leaves. Part of the Scrofulariaceae family, which is derived from the word scrofula, a form of tuberculosis, which may have given the species this name because of its natural medicinal applications for this disease. We are about to discuss a plethora of practical uses of Miraculous Mullein, identification, how to grow, where to find, medicinal healing, history, and even the smoking of its leaves. This podcast is intended for educational purposes only and does not constitute providing medical advice or professional services. Information provided should not be used for diagnosing or treating health conditions. Consult with a licensed physician before implementing lifestyle changes. Native throughout Ethiopia, Egypt, Eurasia, India, the Himalayas, and Europe, mullein has naturalized all over the globe and has been considered a native in a balanced ecosystem, hardy to zones 3 through 10. This biannual perennial broadleaf evergreen has over 300 species of its genus of Verbascum. Verbascum thapsus, mullein, enjoys full sun to part shade, while thriving in disturbed soils, appearing in sites that have been clear-cut, logged, deforested, deconstructed, or grazed. Well-draining, sandy, rocky, clay, fertile, deficient, loam soils are all adequate substrates for mullein, with a pH from 6 to 8, and does not require any fertilizer for healthy growth. Mullein is highly drought tolerant, requiring at least 6 inches of water a year, but doesn't enjoy wet feet. Cold temperatures induce flowering for the next year, while foliage remains evergreen throughout the winters, providing winter interest in the landscape. Deer, elk, mountain goats, chipmunks, prairie dogs, and small mammals enjoy mullein while there is no other food in the winter months. When applied to the garden, mullein may provide a tall vertical contrast that stays evergreen. Cottage gardens, gravel gardens, pollinator, container, wildflower, and winter gardens are excellent placements. Companion plants may be tomatoes to attract hornworms, as a climbing stalk for beans and peas, as a pest deterrent for strawberries, brassicas, and radishes, and to aerate soils around potatoes. Different cultivations have shown antibacterial, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, emollient, astringent, vulnerary, diuretic, antispasmodic, anti-tumor, anti-carcinogenic, antimicrobial, expectorant, and mild sedative qualities. Wow, we have a lot to cover in this episode with all of the many cultivations that we can make out of mullein. For now, let's dive into some history of Miraculous Mullein. Mullein has been honored since the ancient Greek times as a healing herb and a medicine of the people. Even illiterate citizens throughout time have prized mullein and its medicinal benefits. Pharmacologist and botanist Discordes highly praised mullein for its ability to soothe lung ailments. Indigenous cultures in Mexico, such as the Nahuatl, named the plant gordolobo, which is sold in apothecaries today. This began in times even before the coming of conquistadors. In medieval Jewish medicine, mullein was included as one of the vital 23 healing herbs. Remedies also showed presence during the Middle Ages. Our candlewick plant served as a bridge between the colonization of the New World and European understanding of natural healing. The National Formulary in 1916 through 1936 acknowledged Verbascum thapsus as a staple in herbal medicine and was approved by the German Commission E Advisory Panel for the treatment of respiratory ailments. Verbascum thapsus has been used throughout time by medicinal professionals in all areas: naturopathic, electric, herbalist, home remedies, physicians, and medical institutions all respected mullein as a medicinal healer for both humans and animals. Foliage grows low to the ground in basal rosettes. Soft, velvety leaves emerge from the root crown at the soil's surface, appearing lanceolate to oblong. Blue, gray-green leaves may grow 6 inches to 2 feet long. Soft hairs help to break the force of winds and prevent water loss in hot conditions. Remember, mullein is strongly drought tolerant. Commonly referred to as bunny ears and may be mistaken for lamb's ear. Although these two plants do treat similar ailments medicinally, mullein leaves appear much larger, while lamb's ear has a soft white pigmentation to their smaller furry hairs. Mullein is the most commonly seen wildflower in the world, supporting ecosystems globally. 5-petaled, yellow, cylindric flower clusters appear on the top of mullein's strong stalk, their second year of growth. Blooms are around an inch across and appear around July to September. They gift a honey-like aroma to the air, attracting pollinators of all kinds: bees, wasps, short and long-tongued bees, butterflies, flies, birds, and other pollinators enjoy these blooms. Flowers only last for a day, closing at dusk and self-pollinating. Mullein flowers produce a yellow dye, which may be used for dyeing cloth and hair. When using the leaves for dye, adding sulfuric acid and lowering the pH will produce green pigmentation, while raising the pH will produce a brown color. After flowering, mullein dies. However, its strong, tall stalks remain standing, making it easy to identify. Their stalk may grow to heights of 10 feet tall and is coated with small hairs all over. The leaves grow alternately up the stem in a whirl, directing rainwater towards the roots. Valued since ancient Rome, flowered tips were dipped in tallow and used as a long-lasting ceremonial torch, and in dark corridors and in mines. Mullein torches were seen as a symbol of an independent soul who moves courageously, willing to take chances on their journey of spiritual growth, even through the darkness. Due to mulleine's centering and calming qualities, it has been utilized for prayer, meditation, and healing to carry one through their path, focused, grounded, and to move into one's strength in new beginnings. Self-expression, communication, inner peace, and hope moves into the necessary effort to reach one's goal. Next time I see a mullein stalk, I think I'm going to use it as my beacon of light. Seeds may be collected after the flower stalk dries. They leave 100,000 to 250,000 seeds in their wake, those of which closely resemble their parent plants. Seeds may remain preserved in soil for thousands of years until the soil is turned and disturbed again. Seeds require sunlight to germinate, and when planted shallowly, they may sprout in both hot and cold temperatures. Archaeologists have found viable seeds that date back to AD 1300. Seed capsules are brown in color and are ovoid, hairy, with splits opening in two valves. Each capsule releases 500 to 800 seeds, and that's just one capsule in the whole array of the many upon the stalk. Six-sided seeds are pitted with wavy ridges and deep grooves, generally falling within 3 feet around the radius of the parent plant. Do you remember the poem we read at the beginning of this podcast? Grandmother's wise words warns us about mullein seeds. They are toxic. Fishermen would throw seeds in the water to stun fish, making them easier to collect. The chemical constituent rotenone is released as seeds are crushed, and when thrown in the water is harder to breathe in, and it makes fish more sluggish. This technique was used since before the Revolutionary War and was first introduced to the Americas around the 17th century. However, this practice is illegal today. Conservationists may want to rid the plant, although Verbascum thapsus has easily naturalized in many ecosystems. They are not native to a lot of areas. Now, the only effective way to actually get rid of mullein is either to let the soil sit for a couple years. It will naturally disappear because the seeds need sunlight. And while doing that, try to uproot these plants before they go to seed and put them in a pile, let them rot, and that's it. Personally, I want to make a cultivation out of it. I want to tea it, tincture it, oil it, maybe smoke it, I don't know, to reap those benefits of this incredibly healing plant. But, to all their own, we all have work to do. Well, anyway, spray will not work, FYI. The leaves are super protective in this plant, so spray is not effective. Mowing will not work, and the seeds are slightly fire resistant unless in hot, smoldering conditions. So, again, only solution is to dig them up. They have shallow roots, put them in a pile, and let them go, unless you want to make some cool stuff out of it, Verbascum thapsus is only considered noxious in Colorado and Hawaii, and is generally self-managed in a diversity of ecosystems, so I like it, but to all their own. We've only just scratched the surface on everything mullein has to offer. Did you know Mullein leaves have been noted in the Northwest floral guides as insoles for weary hikers. They actually help to relieve fatigue if used on the bottom of the feet and create a soft step. How cool! They may also be used as a soft toilet paper. Way to go, nature. Now, let's get into a little bit more about mullein. Say cultivations, phenolic acids. Various cultivations of mullein, such as the smoke, oil, tinctures, teas, and poultice, have shown incredible action to accelerate rapid repair of incisional and excisional wounds within 10 days of daily application. High phenolic compounds, flavonoids, and polysaccharides may help to stimulate collagen synthesis by fibrosis and acceleration of hydroxyzooproline content, while increasing vascular endothelial growth factor, while providing a soothing analgesic quality. Verbascum thapsus has shown to possess an incredible amount of flavonoids, which have displayed antioxidant, anticarcinogenic, anti-inflammatory, hepatoprotective, anti-diabetic, anti-hypoglycemic, anti-hyperglycemic, antiviral, and neuroprotective qualities. Let's dive into a couple flavonoids. Apigenin is a flavonoid phytochemical glycoside that has been respected by bodybuilders and medics alike, known to boost testosterone synthesis and muscle growth, strength, and energy while aiding in new cell growth, accelerating fracture recovery and bone health while promoting clear skin. Apigenin is observed to be an incredible antioxidant. Neural regeneration research has found neurological improvement by soothing the body's nervous system, improving memory, reducing cortisol and the body's response to stress, all while acting as an analgesic painkiller, reducing inflammation, anxiety, and depression. Phytotherapy research has found apigenin may help in treating and preventing tumors and cancers by inducing HEL recycling apoptosis in cervical, breast, pancreatic, prostate, skin, blood, colon, lung, and liver ailments. Cardioprotective qualities may protect against heart attack, reduce blood pressure, and aid in balancing blood glucose levels, in which may be helpful in treating diabetes. Another glycoside, verbascoside, is considered a treasure from the garden, with traditional use to treat inflammatory markers and microbial infections, studied to provide synergistic activity when used in unison with antibiotics to treat antibiotic-resistant bacteria and pathogens, and is approved for the use in the food industry to preserve food. This water-soluble medicinal constituent appears in tea extracts and shows strong antioxidant qualities, while providing neuroprotective, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and wound healing properties. Without further ado, let's dive into specific cultivations of mullein and how we may practically utilize them in day-to-day life. Flowers, foliage, roots, and stalks may all be used in various forms. We're about to cover edibility, tinctures, extracts, teas, oils, poultices, smoking, syrup, cosmetics, and concoctions to keep in mind while brewing. Let's go. For culinary applications, yellow flowers may be used as a garnish with a gentle sweet flavor, which is full of our beloved antioxidants. Harvest as they bloom to enjoy throughout their season. Leaves are hairy and may have to be blanched or boiled before consumption and then strained off to remove the hairs. Leaves harbor a bitter flavor that may substitute leafy greens in soups, stews, sautés, or other culinary dishes. Mullein tea has a gentle, salted vanilla flavor. To brew, boil 1 cup of water or milk with 2 teaspoons of dried mullein leaves and/or flowers and steep for 15 minutes, then strain. Consume up to 3 times a day. Flavonoids are immersed into the tea after 10 minutes of steeping. Verbascum thapsus may provide soothing and relaxation to the nerves, which has been noted as a sleep aid, while soothing inflamed tracts in the body. Mullein tea may help to treat sore throats, tuberculosis, cough, colds, influenza, bronchitis, tonsillitis, hoarseness, asthma, fever, headaches, earaches, gout, colic, digestive issues such as stomach ulcers, diarrhea, constipation, infections of the colon, kidneys, urinary tracts, including vaginal yeast infections, and may act as a diuretic. Mullein tea may also treat viral ailments like foul plague disease, strains of influenza A and B, and herpes complex, and act as an antibacterial against E. coli, S. epidermidis, S. aureus, and K. pneumoniae. Applied topically, the tea may treat acne, psoriasis, eczema, headaches, and joint pain. An ailment called bursitis is a painful joint condition where the small, fluid-filled sacs, called bursae, cushions the bones, tendons, and joints. However, they become inflamed, which most often may be observed within the shoulder, elbow, and hips. Mullein tea has shown to actually help to treat this condition both internally and topically. To infuse a tincture, fill a jar full of mullein foliage and flower, then cover completely with alcohol such as vodka. Let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks while shaking periodically. Strain, then store in a cool, dry, dark location until use. This tincture may keep for years to come. Tinctures have displayed antiparasitic activity against roundworms, tapeworms, and may also act as an antiviral against herpes, as an antibacterial against E. coli and other bacteria, and also may help to treat migraines and inner ear disorders and infections. Mullein root extract has been observed to harbor anti-tumor and antibacterial qualities. However, high doses of 2,500 to 10,000 milligrams per liter has shown to be toxic, so everything in moderation. Verbascum thapsus infused oils may be used both internally and externally safely. Any carrier oil may be used, such as olive, jojoba, and almond oils. To infuse, combine 1 cup of mullein foliage and/or flower with 1 to 2 cups of carrier oil. To accelerate infusion, perform a hot extraction in a double boiler and brew for 3 hours. A gentle cold extraction may be performed by steeping plant material in the carrier oil in a warm, sunny window. Leaves and flowers may be used to infuse a medicinal mullein oil. Ailments like skin inflammations, eczema, burns, frostbite, infectious diseases, ear infections, headaches, and wound healing for 7 to 10 days while ensuring to continuously mix or shake, submerging plant material as much as possible. strain and store in a glass bottle in a cool location to extend preservation. To treat earaches in adults, children, and even animals, apply warmed oil 2 to 3 times a day, 1 drop for children under 10 and 2 drops for adults. A study in the Archives of Pediatrics and Adolescent Medicine found that antibacterial and analgesic qualities match the effectiveness of anesthetic medicine. Leaves may be made into a poultice with water or milk and applied topically to aid in the treatment of inflammation and wound healing. Boils, hemorrhoids, carbuncles, gout, painful joints, chilblains, burns, bruises, and sprains, all while softening and protecting skin. Spiritually, mullein has been used for eons in divination practices, being a protective, centering, and grounding herb. Many Native American tribes believed smoking mullein was able to alleviate mental disorders and dispel negative thoughts. Used to stimulate and soothe the lungs and lend a hand in healing respiratory ailments like asthma and reducing congestion while opening up the lungs. A constituent called mucilage is a polysaccharide that has been observed to soothe mucous membranes and moisten the linings inside the respiratory tract with a coating that reduces inflammation. Many use Verbascum thapsus, mullein, in herbal smokes to help combat the negative side effects of tobacco and other herbs. Some may use the leaves as the wrap themselves. Smoke exposed to topical wounds has been observed to actually increase the thickness of the epidermis, accelerating blood flow to the wound, and may help it to heal faster. Harvest leaves that are still green and let them dry completely before storing in a glass jar. The veins hold on to moisture, so it's essential to make sure that they completely dry or just separate them from the rest of the leaf before storing. Dried plant materials are crumbly and quite flammable. Natives used to also use the dried leaves as a kindling for fires. Mullein is considered generally safe for most individuals. No adverse side effects are expected to occur, being that Verbascum thapsus is in the safety class of 1 in the Botanical Safety Handbook. While rare, some may be allergic to mullein, so a patch test is essential before consuming or applying. Of course, consult with a licensed physician before ingesting or using topically. Do not use mullein if on anti-diabetic medications or muscle relaxants, as it may intensify these drugs while interacting with lithium. Mullein is a natural diuretic and may reduce potassium in the body if one is already on diuretics. Do not use if you are nursing or pregnant, or if your eardrum is perforated. Ensure when harvesting the leaves, mullein is not exposed to pesticides or pollutants. That is essential. And remember, the seeds are toxic. However, seeds must be planted to grow. We have covered history, how to grow and identify folk medicine, specific chemical constituents, cultivations of our beacon of light plant, mullein, Verbascum thapsus, candlewick plant, and torchwick plant. This is such a special, protective, versatile plant with so much to give. You've been listening to the Sunflower Guru podcast, episode 4. If you enjoyed this episode, consider supporting the show on Patreon at Sunflower Guru. All resources and references are provided in the show notes. Remember, seeds must be planted to grow. Till next time.